Hope you are able to see my screen, right?
Not yet.
Now,
Okay.
okay. So good morning and good evening to all. So my name is Kumar. I have 9+ years of experience in the MDM domain. Okay. So far I worked in clinical and financial data, especially in the MDM domain. So today, though we have multiple MDM system in the market, but today we are going to discuss quick overview of what is Reltio, what is architecture, what data is in Reltio, how we are doing mastering, how the Reltio is differentiated from other MDM system, as well as what are the advantages of using the LTO. Everything will be going to discuss. Okay. So if anything, feel free to stop me if I'm going fast or anything. If you need any question or not. Okay. So the name MDM, right, which means Master Data Management. Okay. So in which mean any MDM system, the Master Data Management, what they are doing is, right, they are getting data, which means we are connecting the data from different source system. Okay. That's get in loaded into the any MDM system. Then we are ensuring the whatever data get loaded, it should, which means the downstream should consume the uniform accuracy and reliable. We are trying to produce a more reliable data, which means the data which we are publishing downstream, which is called single source of truth or golden record. Okay. Single source of truth, it's for each and every attribute, not only the profile level. We used to say golden record in the sense the attribute which has multiple source data, in that we are giving some priority to the certain source system that which we are trying to survive in the MDM system. That is called single source data, which means we are ensuring whatever data we are publishing to the downstream, it should be most reliable, trustable data. There should be no question of ambiguity or confusion with the user. Okay, which means we are providing 100% accurate data to the users. Okay. Then when we are talking, as we have multiple MDM system in the market, right? Why we need to select Reltio. Okay. So there are legacy MDM system, Informatica MDM, IBM MDM, other MDMs, right? So Reltio is the main advantage is that real-time UA experience. Okay. So the user who more want to see the data or load the data in any MDM system, right? Either they are calling the job, or if they want to consume the data, they are putting a query, which means they are consuming or visualizing data in the format of file, okay, or else in the query format only, which means they are seeing only the numbers kind of. But in real relatives, right, the user having the real-time experience, whenever the data get loaded in relative, immediately they can able to visualize the data in relative, as well as if they are looking for some information for a particular profile, instead of putting any query or extracting output and all, they can view directly the data in the relative itself. The second thing is that, so we have a full control of the UA access, which means whom we need to provide access, to whom we need to provide edit permission, and so that is called role-based access control, which means the user, we are providing the real-time experience of UA access, that to control level, Reltio has that capability. The second thing is that any MDMs, any projects, right? So we are getting data from sources and we are doing some business logics, or we have inbound table, outbound table kind of things, right? Which means the database maintenance, it's important, correct? And also, since we are using the database, so whomever the developing team, right, they should be not in the expert level of SQL or something, but they should have basic understanding of SQL, or database maintenance and all, or inserting data. That sometimes we are putting end up with inserting a wrong query, running a wrong query instead of real-time project scenario, right? The user or sometimes team, they are putting, instead of running the lower end query, they run the query in the production. So these kind of manual error, sometimes manipulation, server error, we'll end up with the data loss or incorrect data loaded in the table. And so in this Reltio, right, there is no need of database maintenance, which means the database which Reltio runs, it's purely maintained by Reltio team itself. Okay, the database which is called Cassandra DB. So which means we are getting the data, we are inserting into the via APIs, we are putting the data into Reltio, which means the Reltio services automatically they will insert the data into the Cassandra DB. From Cassandra DB on the fly, which means the real time data will stream to Reltio. Okay. This is the one main advantage. The third thing is that in any MDM system, let's say we are getting data from ad hoc data, delta payload, daily basis data. Okay, everything's come for a particular profile. We are doing mastering and we are doing operation now. But when you go, any error comes or issue comes, right? The tracking of data, it's difficult, okay? Which means you have to run a multiple complex query or basic query, or at least you have to refer one or two tables to what updates came yesterday or before 1 month before now. So this kind of history tracking, you have to write a complex query at least, or you need to compare multiple tables or join condition you have to put, right? So these are, which means the users of the mastering should have a good knowledge in SQL, it is required, right? But in Reltio, right, for the particular attribute or profile level history and active log, everything is captured in table, as well as that history is being already streamed from customer to Reltio, right? The user, they can look and feel the history in the Reltio itself, which means you can track the history minute by minute, day wise, or you can have history 1 year before, 2 year before, all the level history end to end you can be tracked in the Reltio UI itself. Okay. And the other advantage of Reltio nowadays, we are since this new era, everyone's moved to the on-premises. Instead of on-premises, we move to cloud. Correct. Nowadays, many MDM system they start consuming the data from directly from cloud to cloud. Which means SaaS application to SaaS application. Basically, CRMs we have started them. Viva CRM, Salesforce CRM. Which means if you pull the directly inbound the data from CRM to cloud platform. So Reltio supports all cloud platform integrations, inbound and outbound both the ways. Okay, that is it. Then apart from that, in order to improve our data quality of whatever data in the Reltio, right? Reltio is providing more than one out of bound services. Let's say cleanse functions. Reltio supports out of a cleanse function, basically address cleansing, phone cleanser, email cleanser. These are the cleanser is provided by Reltio, which used to verify whatever data comes from the market, whether it is valid as per the standard or not, we can do. Then apart from that, it has a custom workflows. Let's say potential matches workflow, uh, data change workflow, then recommend for deletion workflow. These are the out of box services which will help to improve our data quality of the things. Then, though we have some custom properties which we are making this attribute in order to improve the quality. Apart from that, also to monitor the data and improve the quality, Reltio supports validation function, which means, let's say you are expecting some dependency with the other attributes, right? You can maintain the dependency between the two attributes. Let's say you are looking for a profile. If name is missing, let's say, or creating a profile, name is a mandatory attribute. Without name, you cannot create it. But in the market saying there could be a possible without name also getting it. But still you need a name attribute, which means you need to force the user to add this value or highlight the things. Name is required. This kind of custom validations are if name exists, what is the email needs to be there, like that. We can have some custom validation functions which will highlight the data issues to the user so that the user can act upon seamlessly. Okay. Then other MDM system, I would say Informatica MDM, IBM MDM, SAP MDM, Simark MDM, TIPCO MDM, Delbumi MDM. These are the MDM system currently in the market. Okay. So Reltio, right, when they started in India, 2006, around 2016, they started this solution platform directly in the life science. Okay. So life science is there the first thing in Reltio in Indian market. Okay. Now they expanded that solution platform multiple dimension, which means multiple industries. Now they are in the accounts 360, which means the financial market, consumer 360, and life science 360, life science product and R&D sector and automobile sector, telecom sector, which means they widen their solution in multiple direction, which means the multiple industry level. Okay. So this is a quick overview of Reltio architecture. Okay. So the Reltio is a SaaS-based application which is built upon Java. Okay. And whatever data sits in Reltio, right? It's hold, which means the data in the Reltio in the form of JSON structure. Okay. Which means to load a data or extract data from Reltio, you can in the form of, you will get it in the JSON structure only. Okay. So this is the Reltio cloud. Okay. That whenever the user subscribe to the Reltio, which means when you become the vendor of the Reltio, they will provide your own org. Okay. We used to say cloud. Okay. In that, right, they'll provide you the customer tenant. Okay. Where you are doing the data modeling and data master. Okay. So each customer will be provisioned with multiple customer tenant, which means lower environment or pre-prod environment, then production environment. So like that, they'll provide multiple customer tenant for particular R. Okay. So this is the customer tenant where you are doing the data mastering. Okay. And it suppose data sync from third-party data provider as well, which means in order to improve your data enrichment, I would say adding more information to the particular, let's say the open vendors like Dance and Brandster, DNB, I would say, for the particular account, they adding the more value we can consume from DNB as well. Also, Reltio supports both inbound, outbound, sync between the all analytical platforms. Google BigQuery, Snowflake, you can seamlessly you can stream the data to downstream, which means you can pull this analytical platform or else you can consume the data from analytical platform. Okay. So as I said, right, Reltio is a JSON based application. Okay. So in order to communicate with the Reltio, you have to whatever your source format, you need to convert the data into JSON structure. So in order to convert the data into JSON structure, we have two type of capabilities. One is Reltio capabilities and external capabilities. Let's say when you talk about Reltio capabilities, right? Before going to that, so Reltio also supports, as I said, all cloud-based application it's supporting. Okay. Let's say you can consume the data directly from any CRMs or any PaaS applications. Okay. The Salesforce CRM, Workday, and SAP, Oracle, Microsoft. Also, it's supporting from all cloud services. Let's say AWS, Azure, Google platform, which means your data format should be any type of format. Let's say CSV file, Excel file, flat file, text file, or even JSON structure also. It will read the data from directly from PaaS application or cloud support platform, and with this will consume the data, and using the internal capability or external capability, it will convert the data into JSON and it will post the data to Reltio via REST API. Okay. So when we talk about directly inbuilt capability, Reltio has supporting data loader application, which is inbuilt capability, which is used to create a larger, which means bulk update create in the Reltio application itself. Okay. You don't need to go over any external services. It is inbuilt one of the feature. With that, you can create bulk create update operation directly in the Reltio. The same way export job is a inbuilt capability. Okay. With this, you can pull the data out from Reltio, which means you can get the data in the two basically file format. One is CSV format and JSON structure. Okay. But each service, right, internally Reltio will calling the REST API calls. Then Salesforce. So we have Salesforce connector as well, where you can get the data from directly in the Salesforce Reltio by setting a configuration from the Reltio side. Okay. So you can pull the data ad hoc basis, real time or scheduled basis also you can use. The same way DNB connector. As I said, the third party connector, right? DNB, Duns and Branch. So you can have a configuration, you can pull the data from DNB data tenant to customer tenant, we can build it. The same way MuleSoft connector, SnapLogic connector, which will help you to consume the data from this PaaS application and doing the custom logics and convert the data into JSON, and we are posting it. When we talk about the external services, right? So what are the basic integration systems in the market? The first thing is ETL, okay? Then Informatica, then some scripting language like the Java-based application and Python scripting, okay? iPaaS application, the end-to-end microservices, which will read the file and it's convert the data into JSON second. Then we are communicating to the Reltio, okay? The here key takeaway is that Reltio is a Java-based application. So if you want to communicate with the Reltio, you have to convert the data in JSON structure and outbound also JSON structure only. But once you pull the data from JSON structure, you can apply any custom logics, okay? You can convert the data to data transformation. So how you are consuming the data from inbound, right? The same way you can do the outbound as well. So from Salesforce to real-time connections with the configuration, you can consume the data to Reltio. When the data mastering is completed, you can sync the golden data to the PaaS application as well. And also, whenever you're pulling the data, export, right, data, right, you can place that file. It could be any format, okay? CSV file, Excel file, text file, JSON structure, or any custom file format, or you can send the data to directly to the schema as well. Any BigQuery platform also you can send, or you can place the file in directly to the particular repository or S3 bucket, AWS bucket, everything, anywhere you can keep the file. So now we saw the architecture, okay? So practically speaking, what data we are holding in the Reltio? Okay? What kind of data and basically we are getting from market and how it is being mastered, how we are calling, basically we say the terminology of the data, okay? So Reltio has three type of generic data. One is parties, the second thing is places and things. These are the three data sets we used to load any MDM solution plan. Okay. And when we say data has been classified, when we consider the data, Reltio has three main object. One is entities. The second is the relationship. What is the relationship between the two entities that is being captured as a relationship? Then interaction is the third object where the entities time-based transaction actions that were captured as an interaction. When you go deep dive of entities, right, that again classified in the three categories. One is parties. When you talk about parties, right, it is a people or organization. I would say the individual people or group of people. Okay. Then you can say places or place in the sense locations. Okay. Then thing is the product. So any MDM in Reltio, right, when you subscribing any velocity package, there you are loading the entities like parties, either it's individual people or group of people, then location and product of the entity. So how the relationship, Reltio supports one-to-one relationship or unidirectional relationship, bi-directional relationship also Reltio supports. Also Reltio supports one-to-one, many-to-many relationship also it's supporting. When you see the typical example of parties, right? People means the prospects. Then in that accounts, the consumers, suppliers, employees, healthcare organization, patients, stores. When you talk about individual entity, it is called people. The group of people work in the organization are it's representing one entity is called organization. Location is an address we symbol. The things is a product, the outcome of that particular organization or particular domain. Okay. So typically this is the customer tenant. So we saw this cloud, right? The customer tenant. This is the typical Reltio UI. Okay. Where you can see multiple pages for each profile and you can see multiple facets. Okay. The facets things, let's say we onboarded 50 attributes. Okay. If you are populating all the 50 attributes in a single page in the without designing it, right? It will be